are your evening headlines for December 9th, 2025, right here on BYU-Idaho Radio. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Jill Clary. Fresco is transforming Ghost Kitchen Doorza into a new restaurant. Student reporter Cody Miller has the story.
Fresco Kitchen and Grill in Rexburg has been making pizzas and burgers since 2017, but now the locally owned restaurant is growing in perhaps an unexpected way. In the back of the restaurant is another restaurant, a ghost kitchen called Doorza, which offers pizza with no delivery charge throughout Rexburg. It started 6 years ago, and now, with the help of Fresco, the pizza restaurant is building its own location in Rexburg. Co-founder of Fresco and manager of Doorza, Matt Pyle, says he's happy people have been so supportive.
It's really exciting that we have had such good support from the community, such good support from the college students. Not only do we want to have our own building, but we need to have our own building. We are so busy on the weekends that we can't handle the capacity and the demand that is happening.
Pyle says with the transfer change, Fresco will be able to have more items on the menus. This also gives Doorza a chance to become its own company instead of a ghost kitchen inside Fresco. Piles expects Doorza to open as soon as next March.
Actually, we originally wanted it to be open this year, but as we started building, we needed to make a few adjustments and changes to the building. And so it's looking like March. We would love to have it open, right before graduation. Just like we opened up Fresco right the week of graduation in April. We're hoping to have it open a little bit earlier, but it seems like it'll be a great time for the community.
Fresco will still operate out of their main location at 1181 South Yellowstone Highway, while the new Doorza location will be between Chipotle and the McDonald's on University Boulevard in Rexburg. To learn more about both companies or to order food, visit FrescoKitchenGrill.com or Doorza.com. Be sure to check out their social media for future updates. For BYU-Idaho Radio, I'm Cody Miller.
Idaho families with kids may not have access to additional federal food assistance again next summer. Public News Service reports the state is one of 13 that has yet to opt into the program known as Summer Electronic Benefit Transfer, or Summer EBT. The program provides $120 during the summer months for each school-age child who qualifies for free or reduced price meals during the school year. Kelsey Boone with the Food Research and Action Center says about 107,000 Idaho children would be eligible if the state participates in the program, although that doesn't look likely for 2026.
Every time a state opts out of summer EBT, they leave federal dollars on the table and leave children without critical nutrition support. And we strongly urge states to support families and opt in 2027 and beyond. And we urge lawmakers to protect summer EBT funding.
Boone says states that have attempted to replace summer EBT with their programs have largely failed to reach as many kids as the federal program. The deadline for states to sign up for the summer EBT is January 1st. Boone says a regulatory deadline passed in August without Idaho submitting a plan, but it's unclear if that would keep the state from participating. Idaho did not participate in the program this year. Summer EBT began as a program during the pandemic to provide assistance to children. Boone notes that households, especially those with children and families of color, are still struggling to recover from the pandemic. She says families are also facing an anticipated loss because of cuts to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, that were included in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act.
SNAP cuts will ripple through every child nutrition program, including summer EBT. And as households with children lose access to SNAP, summer childhood hunger will rise, making summer EBT even more essential.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act cuts SNAP funding by $186 billion through 2034, the largest cut in the program's history. The First Presidency Devotional is now available to watch on demand. Each year, the First Presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints hosts a Christmas devotional. President Susan H. Porter, the primary general president, was among the speakers. She talked about the sign of Christ's birth among the Nephites, when the sun went down, but it was still light. She used that as a metaphor when we experience difficulties in our lives. She shared the story of her husband in the hospital on Christmas Eve in 2010 and 2016, the second time he lost his life.
Although each Christmas Eve had a different outcome, each one is sacred to us. Were tears shed, deep sorrow felt, along with loss and loneliness? Yes. And did we feel the light of God's love? Yes. At what felt like the going down of our son in our lives, he gave us light and understanding. As we keep our focus on the Savior of the world, he will light our way to hope and healing.
President Henry B. Eyring, the first counselor in the First Presidency, recalled baking bread with his daughters to share with others at Christmas.
I humbly declare that perhaps the most meaningful way to accomplish this worthy endeavor is by giving simple gifts of kindness to those we love. As we are kind and serve each other as the Savior would, even in the smallest of ways, we can become a channel of God's grace to help those in our circle of influence feel the Savior's love and hope. Jamais j'espère.
Other speakers included young men General President Timothy L. Farnes and President Jeffrey R. Holland, the president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. You can watch the First Presidency Christmas Devotional on the church's YouTube channel or website at churchofjesuschrist.org. These have been your BYU-Idaho Radio Evening Headlines for December 9th, 2025. More news, interviews, and great content are available on our podcast feed. Search for BYU-Idaho Radio on your favorite podcast apps. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and more. For BYU-Idaho Radio, I'm Jill Clary.